Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into the absolutely incredible story of how a railway, one born completely out of desperation, managed to carve a path right through the jungle and unlock the huge wealth of Upper Assam. Okay, so to really get why this project was so huge, you first have to understand just how hopeless things were back in the 1870s. I mean, this quote really says it all. You've got this booming tea industry, and it is, quite literally, stuck in the mud. So the tea boom was in full swing, right? But it was being absolutely choked by one massive problem: logistics. The industry was just growing way too fast for its own good, and it couldn't connect with the outside world. And the contrast here is just, it's stark. Think about it. On one hand, you've got this soaring demand. You need power for more than 60 tea gardens, food for 20,000 workers. But on the other hand, the reality was just a single, unpaved road. And when it rained, it turned into a total nightmare of mud. Every single delivery became this incredibly expensive, super time-consuming ordeal. I mean, the whole situation was just absurd. You had planters importing coal from 1,000 miles away. That jacked up the cost by more than 10 times. And here's the crazy part. There were huge untapped coal fields sitting right there, just a few miles away, basically buried in the jungle. But it's often these impossible situations that lead to really powerful ideas. And this one was championed by a man who was, well, a whole lot more than just the local doctor. So let's meet him, John Barry White. Now, he wasn't just some outsider. As a civil surgeon and a tea garden owner, he felt the pain of that Saudia road firsthand. He knew, deep down, that without some kind of modern solution, all of Assam's incredible potential was just going to stay locked away. And this guy wasn't one to just sit around and complain. Nope, he took action. He started lobbying the government, he got his fellow planters organized, and he pushed relentlessly for a light railway. The goal was actually pretty simple: connect the tea gardens to the Brahmaputra River for transport and connect them to the nearby Makum coalfield for power. But of course, this initial dream, as full of hope and common sense as it was, well, it was about to slam right into a very, very common wall: money. Yeah, even though the need was so obvious, the Assam Railways Company just couldn't get enough people to invest. The whole thing ground to a halt. The directors couldn't move forward, the staff in India were let go, and poof, the whole scheme just fell apart. And for the planters, it was absolutely crushing. They were right back at square one, facing what one person at the time called a mournful prospect: just mud, broken gear, and ruined tea. It really seemed like the dream was dead. Or was it? Because just when all hope seemed lost, this failed project happened to catch the eye of a man named Benjamin Piercy. Now, he was a seasoned railway engineer, and when he looked at the situation, he saw something way, way bigger than just a railway. Piercy's insight here was a total game changer. He realized the railway by itself wasn't a strong enough investment to attract big money. Now, the real opportunity was in creating an integrated industrial powerhouse. The railway wouldn't just be for the tea gardens. It would be the key to unlocking the region's coal, its timber, and maybe even petroleum. And you know what? This new, much bolder vision? It worked. The new company, now called the Assam Railways Trading Company, went to the market, and this time, investors poured money in. The share offering was oversubscribed by 28%. The project was back on, and it was bigger and better funded than ever before. Okay, so the money was in the bank, but now the truly monumental task could begin: physically carving a railway line out of a dense, unforgiving jungle. We're talking about a straight-up battle against nature. The sheer human effort this took is just incredible. They had to bring in skilled labor from halfway around the world, and their journey was an absolute ordeal. First, a shipwreck off Morocco, then a 7-week sea voyage, followed by a complicated trek across India, and the final leg, a grueling 4.5-day slog by elephant and pony. All told, it took them nearly 3 months just to get to the place where the work was supposed to start. And once they finally got there, the conditions were just brutal. This account from the time paints a really grim picture of what life was like for these pioneers. Think about it: totally isolated, hacking their way through dense jungle, being attacked by leeches, a world away from any kind of comfort. This railway was built on pure grit and endurance. So after all those setbacks, the financial collapse, the brutal construction, The physical connection was finally made, and it happened on Christmas Day, 1883. That's when the last rail was laid, linking the two ends of the line right there in the heart of the forest. What a moment that must have been. But this incredible feat of engineering, it was never just about laying down some track. It was about igniting an entire regional economy. And the impact was immediate. It was staggering. As soon as the railway provided that direct route to the river, the Macomb coalfield just exploded into production. Just look at these numbers. We go from 75,000 tons in 1885 to over 200,000 tons by the turn of the century. The tea industry at long last had its cheap, local power source. The success of this company was so profound, it actually attracted the attention of the highest office in British India. We're talking about the Viceroy himself, Lord Curzon. When he visited in 1900, he recognized it for what it was, a truly landmark achievement, a real testament to what industrial enterprise could do in a remote corner of the empire. So, when we ask that question, what does it take to turn a sea of mud into the foundation of an economy? The story of the Assam Railways and Trading Company gives us a really powerful answer. It shows us that it takes so much more than just a good idea. It takes a visionary who absolutely refuses to give up. It takes the resilience to stare failure in the face and keep going. And it takes the boldness to see that a single railway track can be the anchor for an entire industrial ecosystem.